We've got maybe the last huge fab bid of the season. We got a lot of baseball to talk about, all coming up next on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Happy Sunday night, everybody. Welcome to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I am Scott Jenstad, joined as always on Sunday nights by the wonderful Jeff Erickson. If you could please rate or review the podcast, we would greatly appreciate that. Also, we enjoy if you're listening live, make sure you could to say hi, come leave a comment. If you're listening on the audio podcast, we also appreciate that too. Jeff, it's we got about 6.5 weeks left of this season. We're moving fast. How is everything with you?
Good. Although, a little star-crossed with some of, the very good teams and hoping that we have some better results. But hey, everybody has problems, so you got to fight through it. I'm doing well. I'm in a really good mood. Had a great trip with Allie to go college hunting. Was trying to watch games, trying to follow as closely as I could.
Right.
And I'm not all the way caught up, but I'm mostly there.
You like switch over, make her drive when your closer takes the mound so you can watch that sort of thing?
She did drive today while I put in fab bids.
Same theory. That's beautiful. I love that. That's good teamwork right there.
Yes. It's nice to have.
Does she understand what fab bidding is? Does this stuff make any sense to her? She doesn't care.
Nope. Not even curious. So okay. That's fine. That's fine. We all, she did go to a game with me, and nice. On Thursday night we did see the Padres, and it was not the greatest game to take her to because the Padres had like 3 hits, which and Hader melted down. So that was
you have to specify which game that was.
Thursday, Thursday meltdown.
That's pretty much every game now. Right?
The game before the game where he started to take a break from closing.
Right. Yeah. So real quick, what college won the trip?
Current leader in the clubhouse is University of San Diego, USD.
That campus is awesome.
It's incredible.
Did you see the baseball field?
Yes, awesome.
Baseball field's awesome. Yeah, it's a cool place.
UCSD is second. I think Santa Clara is third. Slow's up there.
Nice.
I mean, Santa Cruz was really good. It was fantastic. But San Diego, I mean, what an amazing town.
Yeah, I got into both those San Diego colleges and almost went to each of them, but did not. But I love both places.
Yeah, UCSD. We didn't have a guided tour, so it was kind of on our own. And when we approached it from the west, we kind of got confused where to park and didn't really start in the right place. We're like, oh, this is so confusing. They're doing a lot of construction here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna like it. Finally, we found the right spot. Walk out, and all these buildings popped up that we didn't see before, and like all this like beautiful campus. And then you walk around, and it's like peeling another layer and seeing another layer of campus. And the Geist Library is pretty like incredible. Just the eucalyptus forest in the middle of the middle of the campus is pretty amazing too.
And really, most importantly, Dad could park at her dorm and go play Torrey Pines whenever he wanted to.
There's that. Whenever I want to might be debatable because it's hard to get a tee time. But
you could just use someone's ID down there and then jump on. You'd be all right. But no, that's a nice little walk over from the campus over to Torrey Pines. I actually parked there. We went to the U.S. Open, and I love that campus too.
Yeah, it was awesome. Very awesome.
Let's jump into baseball. A busy weekend. There's some fun games tonight. That Mets Phillies game tonight was crazy. As an Oakland A's fan, I was really happy for Mark Canha. 2 home runs in the last 3 or 4 innings, 5 RBIs, nice bat flip. That was a great back and forth game. Then Diaz came in, actually gave up a run, the first run since like June or something like that. But that was a fun game. This NL East is getting good. The Braves have closed within 4 games of the Mets. Would have been 3 if the Phillies had held on tonight before the David Robertson blown save. But that's a division of just really good teams too.
Yeah, it is. Phillies are breaking my heart right now. This is why you never brag about winning a fab bid because Sir Anthony Dominguez got hurt. Now he's on the IL, and half our fab is gone. And now we have to get more targeting ads. Got the save on Monday night. I'm like, oh, this is going to work out.
I texted you on Monday. I'm like, oh, that's such a great bid. What a great way for that to start out. And just, it's such a bun. It's
going to trot out some Team of Destiny stuff there, and Destiny slapped us in the face real quick. But
at least like if he's bad, you could say like, we just got this one wrong. But like now you feel like you got it right and just got burned. That's a tough one. It's funny because when we texted about that, I brought up Max Meyer, who was like my big bid in my Vegas main event. He pitched an inning and then got hurt. So those suck. Like if I'm going to be wrong, I want to be wrong because he's bad, not because he gets hurt. It's just that's a bummer because I know you guys need saves.
Yeah, well, and at least he did give us 1 save. But Meanwhile, Kennedy blew a save against the Giants and hasn't had a save situation since. But
Although,
but then again, the Diamondbacks had that one the day after and then none since.
and Melancon gave up 4 runs in the one after that save, so at least that helps a little bit.
Yeah, that was useful enough. Yeah. But then we got outbid on like Pete Fairbanks today in that league. It's like, and it was by my rival in the league, Kelly Ugansky, who got him beat us out on him too. Luis Garcia, we got outbid on, although I don't know how much he's going to close, but we did end up with Evan Phillips there. So
all right. See. So you're hoping for Kerry Kimball to walk a few more guys the next couple outings. I was
walk the earth is what I'm really hoping for, but yeah.
Well, there's that too. Grant Desme somewhere is agreeing with you, but no one's gonna get that reference.
Oh no, someone will get that reference. And all it takes is one person to get a reference, Scott, and I got it already. So
one person besides you would be a win for me. So that's
because if Chris Liss were listening, then he'd get it. But he doesn't listen to anybody, so we know that. That's fine.
Yeah, I looked at the Dodgers. Every time they they ask Dave Roberts about it, he's like, Kimball's our guy. Of course, he's the guy. He threw the ball well tonight. And you're just like, all right, and he was so He was always stubborn with Jansen, but it was never this sketchy. I don't think with Jansen. Although a couple years ago, he's given a lot of home runs. Maybe I'm forgetting. There you go. Paul Sporer got the reference, so I feel better about it now. Thanks, Paul. I love Paul, by the way. I wasn't sure. I mean, and Blake Trinan's gonna be back like the first week of September, and we've got Evan Phillips. So it's just one of those things. Like I just didn't know if they went Kimball, if they went committee, but I really like Phillips, the pitcher. So I think that. Maybe they, rest Kimball a little bit, try and get him right. I think it's a good spec play at least.
Who would you rather spec on, Dodgers or Padres right now?
It's a really good question. Probably the Padres, just because they've actually taken Hader out of the role for the time being. So you're maybe going to get a couple saves in there. Whereas, Kimbrel's going to get the next save or the next 2 saves. I think he needs to blow a couple to get out of the job. But they just have so many guys there. I'd probably spec on Luis Garcia just because he got that one before they made the trade, and he got the one this weekend. I'd probably go Garcia before I went Phillips or Trinan, but I'm not necessarily I'd love any of them.
I think Dodgers for me.
Okay.
Because I think Kimbrel's been bad all year.
Yeah.
I Hader has gone through a stretch, and he's been, don't get me wrong, the amplitude of his badness is through the roof. But
I don't know if that's good or bad, though. Kimbrel's been bad all year, and they haven't even thought about making a move.
Yeah, except they did think. They gave him a break from closing this weekend. I mean,
that's
a start. It has to start somewhere.
Not like more of a break from pitching, but yeah, you're right. It could be, just the littlest crack could get there, and Phillips is good, and I like Phillips, but I think end up probably neither one would probably be the answer to that, but I'd probably go Padres, but I mean, Phillips is the best pitcher of that group by far.
He is, and who knows? I mean, I thought Sir Anthony Dominguez was the best pitcher available of all the pitchers last week, and he was for one day. Once.
That was a good bit. I mean, there's no way that's a good bit. It just went really badly. But you look at it. It's funny. We have races that are over, but both Centrals are good races right now. The AL Central has 3 teams in the mix with the Twins, the Guardians, and the White Sox. You got a favorite here. It's kind of like 3 teams that are just kind of okay. Nobody's over more than 10 games over 500. The Guardians are a game and a half against the Twins, who are a game ahead of the White Sox. Who do you think ends up winning this division if you had to look, 6 weeks out here?
Man, I kept on saying the White Sox, but I mean, there's so much bad juju with this team.
Dude, La Russa's a disaster. I don't know if you saw it, you were gone. He intentionally walked at someone else.
No, I saw it. And I saw it on Twitter. It was last night, right? And then
I think it was,
yeah, Jeff Zimmerman sent me a clip of the audio from the TV broadcast, and they're openly questioning La Russa there too, right. And now I think both of those guys are pretty solid guys. They're not total outright homers anyhow, but when you're questioning like that, it shows how much you've lost it. I mean, just 1-2. It's one. Yeah. Hey, Joe Sheehan wrote about it and talked about how La Russa he's doubled down on this, aggressively. So he just doesn't understand count dynamics at all, which is just
the last time he was shocked to even ask the question.
Right.
He's like, do you know his average against righties or something like that? I'm like, yeah, but not with a 1-2 count. That's a way different than starting it at bat. I mean,
just not introspective at all. Just won't even think about it. I mean, he thought about it, obviously, but he thought about it in his way, looked at it through his lens, and stopped there. There was no intellectual rigor at all.
And I assume it's past the point where the White Sox can, stick some stats guy next to him and advise him on stuff. You see
As
the
if
clip
he'll
of
listen.
you see the clip of the fan yelling at him to pinch run Adam England. They put him in.
Yeah, I did see that.
That was a good.
I did see that.
I don't know if it even heard him or anything, but it was really cool. He's yelling at him. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
Lotusa puts England second base. I was cracking up.
Oh, and it's just so many bad things have happened. Robert can't stay healthy. There's
He can't stay healthy. He can't stay not sick. It's just in one thing after another with him.
Yeah. Yep.
The other Central weirdly flipped this week. The Brewers and Cardinals have been really close all year. Cardinals gained 4 games over the last 10 games. They've won 7 games in a row. I don't know if it's me, but every time I look at a box score, it seems like Arenado and Goldschmidt both homer every night. Those guys
or Pujols.
Yeah, or Pujols. It's 5 in a week, which is just crazy.
Yeah. Well, the Brewers haven't recovered from the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And I hate to be narrative street here, but because Hader obviously has been pretty damn bad since he's going to San Diego, but it wrecked the team. It really wrecked a lot of the player. At least it wrecked the clubhouse. Now, whether that translates to on-field performance, you can argue, but I mean, they've blown games late with their current cast of characters. Now, Rogers got a save today, finally. Too late for. Did you bench Rogers already or cut him already?
I cut him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's what I.
Or whenever the trade was made, I cut him.
But Saturday, Devin Williams blew it. When Devin Williams is blowing games, that's a problem, especially when Devin Williams is the one that was vocally irritated the most by the trade.
Yeah, he gave like a 3-minute interview, and he just seemed pissed off the whole time.
Yeah.
How big of a Christian Yelich problem do you think Milwaukee has at some point here? That is big. I think his contract goes to like 2029 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really bad. Now, did he homer today, or was it yesterday that he homered? No, he didn't even play today.
He only had 1 at bat today. He had that long home run earlier in the week, and he actually made a joke about it on online. That was on Tuesday, I think.
He's slugging 375. Oh my gosh!
No, it's really bad. I mean, he's got 9 home runs.
Yeah, at least he has 16 stolen bases. The running has come back, 60 for 17 on the base pass. But
he does, and fantasy-wise, that helps a lot. But when you're paying the guy $26 million in 2028, I'm not sure you care about 18 stolen bases.
No, not at all.
It's weird. I mean, his barrel rate's down. His hard hit's still pretty good. The strikeout rate is down from that weird 2020 at least, but still higher than his MVP type years. There's just no pop, and you wonder a little bit if the Happy Fun Ball was pretty big for him.
I wonder a lot bit.
Yeah, because he had 44 in 2019, 36 in 2018, never hit over 22 in any other season.
There was always the rumors going around that the Brewers, before Trash Can Gate happened, that the Brewers also had a home field camera advantage.
Oh.
And, remember they took away all like the ability to go to the video room in the middle of games. You could, in the 2026 week, the 60 game season, Yelich really started to slump, and they attribute a lot of that because he couldn't study video between at bats. Well, that's maybe a euphemism. Maybe he knew what was coming. Maybe there's something to that there.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, you're going to pay someone that much. You're going to need some power, especially when he's your cornerstone guy right there.
Yeah.
Jeff, question in the chat for you. Someone has Justin Steele, Nick Pivetta, and Rowan Wick in a league. He saves 55 to 45 in the standings. Any feeling on starting one? My feeling there, I'll just take it first, is I would go with Rowan Wick because they have 8 games this week, the Cubs do, and I'm using a closer anytime you got 8 games.
Yeah, Pivetta pitched tonight, right? So he's only getting 1.
And Steele has 1 at Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Steele's been really good.
Yeah, he has. They didn't get any support after the fact today. That's right.
But if I'm gonna have a closer and we have 8 games, I'm just gonna throw him out there. There's just so many chances for saves. I got to use them in that spot.
I tend to agree with that there.
That's a good segue into the schedule this week. Let's take a look at week 21 here. Crazy, we're flying through the season here. We do have 2 teams with 8 games. We have the Cubs, we just mentioned, and the Cardinals. They play 5 games, the first 4 games of the week. Then the Cubs have 3 at Milwaukee, and St. Louis has 3 home against the Braves. But especially in the NFBC, these Cubs and Cardinals guy, 5 games this first half week is really big.
Yeah, I think so. It's huge for the Cardinals. They can almost put their foot to the, if they put their foot on the pedal here, they could finish off the division here. Probably not, but because, variance happens still, but
no, but Milwaukee's at the Dodgers to start the week too. So they could certainly start to put a little bit of a stranglehold on it.
Yep. Brewers get 6 games this week, 3 at the Dodgers. 3 at home against the Cubs, which as we've seen, that is not a sure thing at all.
Even the Dodgers even hit Sandy Alcantara. Like they're actually pretty good.
Yeah, I only have Sandy in one particular league. It's a keeper league. That's an L I got to take this year. Even despite today, it's an L I got to take because I thought he was going too early. I thought late second, early third. I thought was too soon. I'm wrong. I've been wrong about that. I have him in a keeper league or two, but nothing in redraft this year.
Yeah, I don't have him either. I thought it was a little too early too, and I was just wrong there. Also, he's been obviously awesome. But Tony Gonsolin passed it for the ERA lead today.
Yes, he did. Yes,
Things you did not expect to hear in the middle of August when the season started.
No.
Some other good offensive schedules before we jump into some fab talk. Philly's got a really good schedule. You talked about the Phillies earlier. They have 7 home games this week: 4 against Cincinnati, 3 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is a week where the Phillies should score a ton of runs.
Yeah. Our Reds are probably going to give it up. They got an opener tomorrow. Sessa is opening, and he's been incessantly bad.
What's funny is David Bell said he's not. They're trying to stretch him out a little bit, it sounds like.
That's even worse. You shouldn't have told me that.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. This is Jeff getting back from a college tour, not being up on things there, by the way.
No, it was just a quick report. Like I looked at it too, and I'm like, oh, I can't pick up Sess. He's probably an opener. And they said they weren't calling him that. He's not fully stretched out. So I'm guessing he's going to throw like 3 innings.
He threw 2 innings in his last outing on the 15th. Right. So he's been off for a full week.
Yeah. So you're probably going to get, they're not going to give you an opener, but you're probably going to get 3 innings out of the guy.
You're going to get incessant run scoring.
Yes, probably a lot of that. But yeah, the Phillies have a really good schedule. The Mets have a good schedule too. They're 2 at the Yankees and then 4 home against Colorado. The Yankees finally got a couple of wins later this week. They had the Josh Donaldson grand slam. They had the Benintendi huge bomb today, but that's a team that's still really struggling.
It's like 5 of the last 20. I mean,
yeah,
that's.
I think it's worst record since the All-Star break in all of baseball.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do because the A's are still a franchise in the majors.
Allegedly.
You wouldn't know it from the stands, but apparently they do play baseball. Hey, 2 out of 3 from the Mariners this weekend. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, hey, that's got to be able to that's got to hurt for the Mariners there too.
That's the main thing. Is like Mariners are in the mix, and you can't be losing 2 out of 3 to the A's.
Right.
That is just
they're still the last wild card though, but yeah.
JP Sears pitched twice well this week for the A's. Got
Great
2 wins.
Two-stepper.
For people that picked him up, I think he gave up 1 run in each start. I don't know though, Jeff. It's of much regret that I picked him up because my drop for JP Sears was Kyle Finnegan, who got 3 saves.
Oh, I've been hearing from you all week on that. Yeah, but we picked him back up in one of our.
I actually put a lot of thought into dropping Finnegan last week. He had pitched 4 straight games where he pitched once in the 8th and 3 times in the 7th inning. It's not like he was even close. It was like Carl Edwards was after him every time. 7th, 7th, 8th, 7th. And I was like, all right, well, clearly he's not the guy. They're not using him that way. They're mixing and matching. And this week he comes in like as a pure closer in 3 times. And then that's actually won 3 games in a week too. It was saves are my worst pitching category. That might be a drop that I think about for a long time.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if I would have started him, so maybe not. But
honestly, I was rooting against him on Thursday night just for you.
I appreciate that. The solidarity means a lot to me.
The damage that drop will be is left in its wake there is just awful. But
it's I finally got that.
Yeah, thanks.
You spent a long time getting around to that one.
Yeah, I know. I had to. I couldn't just dude, Finnegan's wake. I had to kind of spin it out some way there.
I don't know which way was better, which way was worse, to be honest.
Yeah. Give me time. I'll come up with another one that you'll hate.
Other good schedules. The White Sox are really nice this week. Who knows who's going to be playing for them? They seem like Wisconsin is banged up, but they are at KC, 3 at Baltimore, 3 home against Arizona. That should be a good week if you have White Sox players or want to pick any of them up. I do like their setup this week.
Yeah.
Do you like the Little League Classic game they play at Williamsport each year?
I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was driving home tonight, but it's fine. I think it's really cool if you were there.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool for the kids and their families.
Yeah. These kids who probably don't go to a lot of games, especially the international ones, get to sit 10 feet away from Major League game. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. You have it games at other, Field of Dreams. You have you're gonna go back to London next year. Yeah, sure, why not?
And it's one game. I thought it was pretty fun. They did a lot of guys mic'd up, and there was some pretty good stuff in there. So it was a fun watch. The other team I like this week, I like Tampa this week. We're talking about some of them in our pickups, but 4 against the Angels, 3 against Boston. They face 4 lefties this week, so if you can kind of play some platoons there. I think Tampa scores a lot of runs this week too.
Yeah, sneakily enough, the Rays have tied the Jays now for second in the AL East, despite having no one.
They do it. They do it every damn time too. It's like, I'm like, look at the lineups. I'm like, the Rays are bad again this year, and you look up, like, they're in second place. It's just it's incredible magic.
Yeah. So there's a 3-way tie for the wild card right now, right? And because the Mariners are 10 games over 500 too.
But all of them are in right now. But there are the 3 teams that are in are all tied, which is pretty wild. And the Twins and Orioles are 2.5 back, and the White Sox are 3.5, and that's kind of the extent of who's there, unless you want to bring in the Red Sox at 6 back.
Right, which we're not going to do. But
with that series win, the A's are only 21 out of the wild card though, so that's just 1 20-game win streak, Jeff. They might be right there.
Dare to dream.
20-year anniversary of the 20-game win streak right now too.
Yeah, not the worst team in baseball though. Somehow.
Oh, did they pass the Nats?
Oh, they're 4 games ahead, 4.5 games ahead of the Nats right now.
On fire right now.
Nats are 41 and 82.
Oof.
And that's despite a good weekend this weekend in San Diego. Well, they took 2 out of 4. They split them.
That's a good weekend, Jeff. When you're 41 and 82, that's a good weekend.
Indeed, it is.
They are minus 209 on the run differential. That is a bonkers number.
Yeah, it is.
According to ESPN, they're less than 0.1% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So let's jump into Fab. There was a lot of names this week, but first, a note from our sponsors, the Blue Wire Network. Thank you for indulging us there, Jeff. Let's jump into starters first. I think we've buried the lead of this week in fantasy baseball already. Let's start with starting pitchers. The big name out there was Dustin May with the Dodgers, especially in NFBC leagues where he was not available yet. Unless he get drafted, and he didn't draft anywhere because we didn't know when he was going to play. He was owned in 0% of the main events, I believe 0% of the 12 teamers. If it was 12 teamer, there might have been a few out there, but he's available in almost every league. He got picked up in a ton of places. If you need a starter, this was absolutely the last big name potential stud starter was out there. I know you guys are short on money, so you probably did not do any Dustin May. But how do you feel about him as someone? If you needed pitching or you had money, that you should use all at the end of your
absolutely
yeah.
Empty. It's 6 weeks. Yeah, wait, 5 more weeks of Fab, right?
5 more weeks of Fab is correct. Yeah,
I would pare it down to having $10 to $15 left. It's just that impactful. I think unless you're in first place in wins in your league or something like that, something crazy like that. Which I actually do have a league that applies that, but you should empty the wallet for him.
I'm wrong. 6 more weeks of Fab after this week.
6 weeks of Fab.
Because there's that last half week.
Okay.
The season ends on October 5th. Because of the strike stuff or the lockout stuff earlier this year.
Yeah. I only came close to adding May in 1 league, and I didn't even come that close, but I could have had him in yogurt. He only went for 28 in yogurt.
Wow.
Yet Eduardo Rodriguez in the same league went for 133.
That is curious.
It was curious. But the guy that got Erod's thumping me in the league. So I got that. Brad Coleman from Baseball HQ is smoking us in this league. Actually, he's in second in the league, but he's 42nd overall. Dylan White's in first, and he's really crushing it. So I got to give Dylan some credit there. Credit's due. I'm so thoroughly mediocre in that league. That's the one league I could have gotten May. Everywhere else, he went for more than I had.
He went for 150 more, 154 in my yogurt league. So I got him in 2 places. I got him in online championship for 177. I felt pretty good with the backup of 19.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic there. But then I got him in the Vegas main event, and it was interesting. I actually spent a lot of time looking at, for the first time this year, really looking at what other money people had. Not only that, but what they needed. So I looked at all the teams that were around me in money, and 4 of the 5 didn't need pitching. They had over 60 points in pitching. So I thought maybe I had a chance based on the fact that if you got $150, last thing you want to do is go $140 for someone when you need hitting. So there was a team in last place that had been super active the last couple weeks. So they had a lot of money, and I figured, I'm not even going to think about them because they want to outbid me. They're going to outbid me. They actually didn't. They got David Peterson instead. But I won May in that league for 94, which I kind of came up with the fact of I had about 140 left. There's a lot of people with 110 to 150, and I didn't think that I didn't think anybody that didn't need pitching was going to go that heavy, but I didn't want to also go down to $20. So I left myself with, I think, 48 or 45 or something like that, which is lower than I want to be at this point. But I thought May was worth it considering I have a good offense and need pitching badly.
Yeah, for sure. I like that you got Machiavelli in there.
I rarely do it, but I really did, and I had to just be okay with throwing that last place team out, knowing if he went $200, he wins and it's over, and I wasn't gonna lose too much sleep over that. And he'd been really active lately, which kind of freaked me out because I looked at the last couple of weeks. He was the high bidder on multiple guys the last couple of weeks.
Is that one of the talking heads in your league? Is it one of the non-talkers in your league?
It is someone that I don't know, so I guess we're gonna go non-talking head.
All right.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I'm not going to make you throw him under the bus because.
No, I mean, he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he's just been using his money. He's been very active lately.
No, just throwing him under the last place bus. That's all.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, yeah. You could look up those.
We don't have to name names. I thought it might have been a name, but
it is not a name, but it's no, there's no, I'm not throwing him in last place, but I mean, you can look up the standings if you want, but no, I don't think of somebody that I know. I don't recognize the name.
So you still have $42 left. Not bad.
Is that what I have? Did you look? I have 42 left. Yeah.
Paul Sepp told me who's one of the talking heads in your league.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So I have $42, which is, I like to have, I usually say 50 to 75 on September 1st, but I thought that going under for May was worth it. If it works, it's great. If he doesn't, he doesn't pitch well, it's great. But I thought it was the last significant upside arm that's going to be available this year.
Yeah. Yep. And if you spent more on Dustin May than you needed to, but you got the guy you really needed to get, that's fine. Like Sarah said, that she spent $251, but she had 3 other people that had a lot of money. You know what? She got the best available player for the rest of the way.
Yeah,
that's what you have to do.
And on the same point, my 177 and 19 online, I had a bunch of money. He was the last guy. I have no problem winning that. I knew I took a number where only one other team could outbid me at all, and I figured they weren't going to. It's the last big move I was going to make. I had a bunch of money. I'm not going to take $300 with me to the fab grave, so might as well use it. And I wasn't even worried about the backup bid in that league.
Yep, that's right.
In the main event, I was because I was really trying to work out where the comfort zone was. The backup bid was 85. Obviously, don't know who that was, but I'm sure it was one of the teams that I looked at closely. So I was a little lucky in that the teams that had the money didn't need pitching and probably didn't want to do very much. But it was interesting way to bid a week of bids. I saw the price were in the main event was between 50 and 240, with most of them over triple digits. I say 75% of the leagues where the bids were in the triple digits.
Yeah. And you're still doing, I mean, you're still, you're winning that league still.
Yeah. I'm last in Ks. My ratios are bad. My wins are bad. So I need starting pitching. It's just, I have to do it. I don't need offense at all.
Unbelievable. You're in first place in that league and you have 32 pitching points. That just cracks me up.
It's when Trevor Rogers is your SP1, there are problems to be had.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I tried to drop him this week again and I got outbid on players. So I didn't actually.
I've had that happen in a couple of leagues with certain guys. You just can't get rid of. They're just there to taunt you. Hey, he's still here.
And he's pitching. He's making rehab starts. Like he said, he gives up 5 runs in AAA in 2 innings. I'm like, great. I'm glad that I wasn't able to get rid of this maddening. But the next guy I had listed here was Edward Rodriguez. You mentioned earlier when you're talking about your TGFBI league. He was only 42% rostered in 12s, and today's start was obviously a big spot for him to see how much you're going to bid. He looked really good today. He threw 5 innings, no earned runs. He'd have 3 walks, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, but he kind of looked like the old Erod and threw 5 innings. So I think if you needed somebody, he seemed to be the pretty easy second guy after May.
Yep. Lefties against Angels are a cheat code still. They're so bad against lefties. Even with Trout back, they're so bad. Yeah. I used like someone really sketch about a couple of weeks ago in DFS just because I'm doing that and it worked. And I wish my recall's pretty off tonight, but just Jeffrey Springs used tomorrow. Should be a good start against them. Later in the week, McClanahan. You're going to use him anyhow. So that's the only 2 lefties that face the Angels this week, but it should be like a little sneaky, little code if you can ever find a pickup there if you're looking for a cheap guy later on in the season.
Total tangent here, but you mentioned the Tigers. Does Austin Meadows have a guaranteed job next year if he's healthy? Like, where are we with it? It's been a mess of a season. He's hurt. He had to come off his rehab this week. It's really sad.
Yeah, I mean, clearly we need to know more information.
Yeah, but the guy's 0 home runs and 0 steals and 150 plate appearances. That is not Austin Meadows, no matter what variation of Meadows you're talking
if you have vertigo, I imagine those 2 things are running and hitting are affected by that. So
especially hitting major league pitching.
And Nick Asaski never recovered from vertigo.
Yeah. Glenn Davis had that too, right? The Astros first baseman.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. That's a sad one because I mean, after 2019, looked like one of the new stars in this league. Oh boy, someone's taking shots at Mike the Mouth. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Oh, well, come on, put a name on it. It's all right. Paul doesn't mind. He'll take that. Let him face that heat.
Yeah.
Mike the Mouth tweeted out earlier, blamed experts for him drafting Eduardo Rodriguez. So that was pretty funny.
I assumed he shut off the podcast as soon as Eduardo Rodriguez's name came up anyway, so we're probably all right.
Yeah.
Next guy I was looking at, Carlos Carrasco is out for 3 to 4 weeks. Not good on my team that needs pitching, by the way. Carlos Carrasco is like my best pitcher in that league. So Justin May, pretty much replaces him. But David Peterson will take over his spot in the Mets rotation, obviously pitching for a really, really good team. Numbers have been good so far this year. 83 innings, 3.44 ERA, 1.3 whip, a little high there. The walks are a little high with Peterson. He's like 11% walk guy, but 27% strikeout. That's taking a step up each year. He's someone I think is pretty workable in a 15-team league and might even be workable on a 12-teamer if he keeps his job.
Yeah, he might. It's just Peterson. They kind of like just jerk him up and down and around. It's really weird how they treat him there. But home start against the Rockies. That's been a good code. Lefties home against the Rockies are usually a pretty good thing. And then the Nats. Yeah, those are two really nice starts.
I definitely looked at the schedule before I was putting bids on him. I actually got outbid on him. The previously mentioned team in last place put their money in for him instead of Dustin May. So I guess I'm happy about that, but I would like to get both guys. Mm-hmm. Was there anybody else you were looking at? I looked at Drew Smiley and online. He's been pitching pretty well lately. He has 2 starts this week, but one is against St. Louis and a lefty against Arenado and Goldschmidt kind of freaks me out a little bit. At least Tyler O'Neill's an easy out, but the other guys are good. And then at Milwaukee's, not as bad as it used to be, but still not a start I'm super fired up about, but not too scared of that one. Austin Voth, who we talked about last week, Peter Shanky actually asked him a question about him here. He's home against the White Sox, then at Houston. He's been pitching well. Apparently he adopted some analytics recently and been changed how he's pitching, but man, I see at Houston anytime and I just get a little freaked out.
Yeah, and White Sox, I mean, who knows with them? They're so weird. But that one's at least at home in Baltimore, which is a pitcher's park. So I did not rock the Voth, but I could see the merits. I just, at Houston. I mean, one thing we got to talk about a little bit is Yordan Alvarez. He's speaking of scary stuff going on with him too. And
it was weird on Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like there's always something lately with him. That's the thing that kind of gets me concerned about for next season, not for the rest of the season.
He did play today, so that was a good sign. But he sounded like he had shortness of breath on Friday, but it was weird because he went in the clubhouse and all of a sudden there was an EMT came running across from I forget who the other team was, but the other team's dugout into their runway down there, and I was like, gee, you just think something's really wrong when the EMT comes running over like that, but
right.
I don't know. I don't know if he
was
the Braves. Yeah. Okay. There you go. I don't, it was a strange situation. Obviously he went to get checked out. Everything checked out normally. Played today, had a couple of hits, but yeah, you're right. It just always seems there's something, but it seems like they dodged a bullet with this one. It kind of sounds like I can't diagnose anything, but it just sounds like he had like an anxiety or panic situation or something.
But keep in mind, he's had 2 instances of COVID, right?
Yeah. Yes, it could be actual physical breathing issue too.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That it might be something related. I'm just playing idiot speculator from my chair here, but I speculate about everything. So I'll go
it was strange, but yes, I've been watching. Good thing he played today, so obviously you put him in your fantasy lineup. But yeah, that was definitely concerning. Someone asked in the chat if you would drop Rowan Wick for Aroldis Chapman or Luis Garcia on the Padres. I would not. Jeff?
No, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, Chapman's a mess right now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They thought he was fixed, and he comes in, he walks the ballpark again.
I don't know who gets the next save. I don't know. It's Lou Trevino got the save today, right? Or they got the win. I think they brought him in late. Was it? He get the save? He got the save, right?
I am not knowing.
Pretty sure that Trevino got the save today. I could be wrong though, but I just don't
look it up while we're talking.
They liked it. It was actually no. Trevino got the win because they scored late. And he pitched the 9th, but he pitched part of the 8th also. That's why he pitched.
Yeah, and Efros has a sore shoulder now too. Which
Trevino pitched 2 1/3 today, Jeff. The dude's doing yeoman's work right there.
Well, I did see. I think it was moving MLB moving averages. John was talking about. They're going to fix him because of his pitch mix. That was like they should go get Trevino, and maybe at least for today, he's pretty right.
Who the hell gets the next save there?
I mean, he pitched 2 innings today, so it's not Trevino. He threw 32 pitches.
32 pitches, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer to that question is. I guess it's maybe Chapman, but I don't think they trust him in a 1-run lead right now either.
Right. And they get 2 games against the Mets. I mean, that at least that won't be tense there or anything. So, in regards to your question, though, we held Clay Holmes
Oh, okay.
because of the Chapman setback,
Yeah.
basically. Holmes, it was kind of like one of those let's get him fixed sort of injuries. At least that's the way I interpreted it there.
Right.
Wasn't quite full Kikuchi'd, but it was on that sort of path, I feel like. So I think he'll come back in a shorter order. I don't think it'll be anything much more than 15.
Yeah.
And he's already throwing this weekend. Holmes is. And I think he'll be back in the mix again.
Let's hope he gets fixed better than Kikuchi did.
Kikuchi had like a 3-start little window there where you got something out of him, and then it just slammed shut. He's done.
Luckily, I dropped him after the first one. I didn't stay for the second one, but it was bad again. Then he went to the bullpen, so that one is done. But what about relief pitchers? We kind of hit a little bit early on. We talked about the Dodgers and the Padres. We talked about Phillips and Trinan and the kind of the Padres situation. I think we both think if you're going to pick someone on the Padres, probably Luis Garcia. We talked about Kyle Finnegan, a gigantic UG for me in fantasy this week. But is there anybody else?
I actually picked him up in my Vegas main, by the way.
How much did you get him for? Because some weasel outbid me because they knew that I dropped him. They wanted to punish me for the way my ways.
Was it Paul or
No? It was actually Scott Wagner, who's a really very good player.
He is a good player. Yeah,
really good player, good dude. But he punished me for my mistake, and I deserved it.
24-16.
Oh, my bid would have won in that league. He went for 73 in mine.
Oh.
I'm telling you, people want to punish me. It was deserved. I earned it. I deserved the punishment, and it was a mistake. And I will never say I don't make mistakes, but that was definitely one.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Looking at so I'm trying to find it. We threw $1 at Jack Flaherty, didn't we? But that was only
I threw $6 at him and got bid 7-6. I was bummed about that one. I think
gross.
that he looked really good as his rehab outing today, and I was hoping no one was going to see that. He had 7 strikeouts in 4 innings. I really wanted to kind of slide him through. I couldn't. It was the Vegas man. I couldn't bid too much on it because there was always the chance that I was going to get May. So I was like, it was the second bid. So I had him higher in my league where the bid I got May, but then once I got May, I went down to the lower one and I lost, I think 6-6. But I think that's a good spec too. I mean, if he hasn't been good all year, but he hasn't been right all year either. And if he's finally right, you may get some good starts out of him down the stretch.
Yeah. Well, and he was below my Finnegan bid. So now I got to see if did anybody actually get Flaherty. Yeah, somebody got him. Posma, of course.
Of course.
12-11, he wins them too. Perfect bid, of course. Yeah. Although Posma is not winning that league. That league is being won by Matty Wood still.
Matty Wood's still winning. Nice.
Yeah. So Matty Wood, Toby made some ground up on him for about a nanosecond this week. We were tied for second in that league. Now we're in fourth again. But at least we're fighting.
And to Paul asking the question, yes, I bid 6 on Flaherty. Sounds like he did too and also lost the bid. So there were 3 people that bid $6 on Flaherty in our league.
That's brutal.
That is pretty wild. You mentioned Fairbanks earlier. Did you anything with the Tampa guys? I mean, Jason Adam has 2 saves this week. I think Fairbanks had 1 or 2. It's always a frustrating exercise, but it seems like maybe those 2 guys are the 2 that get him right now. So maybe it's less of a committee and more of a 50-50 kind of split.
Pretty much, yeah. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it.
Jason Adams, awesome.
Yeah, he is. He is.
He's got a .62 whip with a 33% strikeout and a 5.6% walk rate. This is something I never even heard of last year. He's 31 years old. Had kind of had a few cups of coffee with Toronto, the Cubs, maybe and the Royals, and now he's just absolutely dealing for the Braves out of the bullpen. It's incredible what they do.
It's bonkers. They do this all the time. They find guys like Kittredge was, I think maybe he was part of their own organization, but look at like Jeffrey Springs. He was, just someone to toss to the side. All this talk about, in the case of the Willie Adames trade to the Brewers, which was very good, but Rasmussen came over to the Rays in that deal, and he's pretty darn good too.
Yeah. So let's any of the relievers you think are good specs right now? I'm looking for saves in a couple leagues. I lost Bednar. I lost Taylor Rogers. Is there anybody you like that you think might be a little bit sneaky right now? Because I'm really not seeing it at the moment.
Dude, if I knew, I would be rostering him in my main, my online main. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we got Evan Phillips, and we'll see. I mean, he's a really good pitcher.
The one guy I kind of like, and I'm looking here, but is definitely behind. I kind of like Dylan Floro a little bit in Miami. I know that Tanner Scott's been okay, but I do like Floro a little bit. But I mean, you're talking about a bad team, and he's not the guy right now. So there's not a lot of interesting specs at the moment.
Yeah, and he's not even that good of a pitcher.
There's
a guy I kind of like, but in San Diego, but he's not one of the top 2 guys right now. Martinez actually got the save today. Oh my goodness. Yep. I'm blanking. Give me 1 second.
I'll get Morahan or Suarez?
Morahan.
Okay.
Morahan is just that guy. Just every time I watch him, I'm like, that guy's good. Yeah. He's gonna, I want to see more out of him. He's coming back from an injury, obviously.
He was a starter a couple years or last year, a couple years ago with them. I remember he got called up.
Yeah, he made 2 starts last year, but it's more opens or short-term starts. But so since coming back from his arm injury, 17 to 3 K to walk in 19 innings. He throws like close to 100 miles an hour too. He's someone that I'm put a pin on him for the future. But Hader's obviously going to be there next. Hader's got 1 more year left, so
right.
They're going to do everything they can to restore that.
In the majors, Jeff, or in the minors?
Pipe down.
I hope he figures it out. I love watching Josh Hader pitch. So
I mean, it's yes, there is a history of pitchers just absolutely losing it, but
I think he throws 2 scoreless innings. He's back closing games.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's all over the place right now.
All over the place.
Yeah, he's like,
and not only just walking guys, but he's getting up hits when he's not walking guys too. Well, it's not like it's one or the other; it's both.
Thursday, he comes into the game with 2 guys on. They left Darvish in 1 inning too long.
Yeah,
and he gave up like this little blue pit. There's 2 guys on base, and I'm like, I have Darvish in a couple places, and I just love Darvish. I think he's fun to watch. Hader hadn't pitched in 9 days, and they brought him into that.
He hadn't pitched in 9 days.
Yeah, because he doesn't want get work outings. Okay. He only wants with things on the line. He got ahead of Voit, and then hit him with this awful pitch. Like it bounced.
I just said that. Yeah,
57 foot pitch there. Hit him in the back foot. I mean, he was trying to throw a back foot slider, and he was literal about it, unfortunately. And then he wasn't close against Nelson Cruz. 4 pitches to walk or run in. I'm like. And then the sack fly, both the Darvish's inherited guys come in. Hader's ERA actually went down that game, but it was just a joke.
And it's that kind of thing, though. It's the hit by pitch, then a walk, then you get up the 1 hit. Same to Chapman. Chapman came in the other night, had the ghost runner in second, but walked 2 guys, and then he gives up a kind of a stupid little base hit down the line. It turns into a triple, but it was like not that hard hit, and it was a good pitch. When you put 2 guys on base, you should get yourself in so much trouble.
Yeah, and it's funny is that the ability to not put guys on base is valued a lot in like old school baseball. And by announcers, but the ability to draw that said walk isn't trumpeted. Like, it was in Moneyball and all of that, obviously. But even today, though, you always hear like he's hitting 250. No, he's on base 350.
Yeah.
That's what this thing's. Kate Salazar is asking about the Padres and why they're slipping, and they're not hitting. That's the big thing.
They're not hitting at all. Every time I look up,
hitting.
They play. I put Padres in this week. I'm like, they're facing the Nats. They're going to score 8 runs a game this week. And every time I looked up, it was 2-1 in the 6th. It's like every time.
Thursday's game, I have to say, I love going to a ball game. It was a sellout. Love Petco. It's kind of a dull game.
Yeah, it wasn't. I remember turning on. I'm like, kind of a boring game.
Yeah. And it's there wasn't even like they were getting robbed by the ballpark. It was just they're just bad at bats. The only who was Ha-Seong Kim was grinding out at bats. He looked actually pretty good.
I like Ha-Seong Kim.
Machado hit a rocket out of there for their 1 run, but Soto was struggling in that game a little bit. I think he drew 1 walk. Trent Grisham was going back doing Trent Grisham things again out of the leadoff spot. Drury's under a big slump right now. They got a lot of guys slumping all at the same time.
They had a 4-game home series against the Nationals. They scored 8 runs.
Yeah, against the Nationals.
Really, really, really hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, Anibal Sanchez was your starter on Thursday, and they had 3. Count
is that his kid or the same guy?
Exactly.
Damn, I can't believe he's still. I saw Aaron Sanchez might make some starts this week too. We're getting all kinds of throwbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Padres won the last 2 games. They won them both 2-1. I mean, Minaya had stepped up. He's been really rough, but he stepped up pretty nicely today. They needed it badly, but. Yeah. You're right. Josh Bell hit a 2-run home run. Soto hit a home run on Saturday night. Otherwise, they were in big trouble. But they're just not hitting. You're right. But
yeah.
Speaking of hitting, let's get into the hitters on Fab. But first, a note from our sponsors at Caesars. The weather is heating up, and so are the promotions at Caesars Sportsbook. Today, anyone who's at least 21 years old in a licensed Caesars Sportsbook state can create a new account and redeem the Caesars Sportsbook promo code of ROTO15. That's ROTO15. The promo code gives New Year's a risk-free first bet up to $1,500. Visit Caesars.com/sportsbook or download the Caesars Sportsbook app today. And don't forget to use the promo code ROTO15 when signing up. So, Jeff, just because I can, I'm going to start with an A's player when we talk about Fab this week. The A's called up Shea Langeliers.
Yeah.
I think their number one offensive prospect. He was he was a top 40 prospect in most lists I saw when the A's made the Matt Olson trade and got him. He's been hitting really well in AAA. They called him up. It seems like he's going to either catch or DH most days. Obviously, they have Sean Murphy, so he won't catch every day. But I think he's going to play every day. I'm going to call him up to sit him. Had a nice day today. He's striking out a little bit much. Don't get me wrong. He's at like 45%, but that's we're talking about 20 plate appearances. But had 3 hits today. Had a home run in his first game, I believe, and has 4 RBIs already through 5 games. From a first eye test, first time through, it looks like he can hit. He had 19 home runs in AAA. And most importantly, Jeff, in our league, he's a catcher.
Yeah. Absolutely. I picked him up in Vegas, Maine. Won 5-4 on that one. So
I was outbid 13-12. So I'm upset with you right now. Oh.
Yeah, of course. And it was replacing Yan Gomes, who I so cleverly picked up for that eventual Wilson Contreras trade that never happened.
They hugged in the dugout. They had to be trading him.
Yeah. Hug equals trade. Yeah. I was told that. But you know what? And Contreras, by the way, I love seeing him like hit walk-offs and going nuts for his team after not getting traded. No bitterness there. He's still all in on the Cubs.
They should just sign him to a long-term deal. Keep him there. And just
still can.
I know they should right now. It's just he clearly likes to be there. The fans love him. Like it's hard to find situations like that. Just sign the dude.
Yeah, I'm sure reasonable minds can come to an agreement. But anyhow, so he Langeliers replaces Gomes, so that works out. And I agree. I think it's either going to be splitting, they'll be splitting time between, DH and catcher. And I've got Murphy in the other main, so I want them both to play.
3 homer week this week,
Sean
too.
Murphy is awesome.
He had a huge week.
He's a good human being.
Yeah, he hits the ball hard. I love that he's DHing. I mean, you want that because normally guys who catch him a bunch, they have to sit a day. I imagine he's going to DH a bunch. I think he's a really nice ad, and he was I haven't been on a catcher in a while, and he was obviously after the Sal Perez debacle. But other than that, I definitely wanted Langeliers this week. I think that's going to be a really nice ad for people. Set in a 15-teamer, second catcher is really, really rough. I have Jacob Stallings, so I feel the pain. But
he was on our list of guys to pick up in place of Gomes. I picked him. There you go.
I picked him up last week for a guy who I loved early on, was raking early on. It was Danny Jansen, who just not playing very much. When he plays, is not doing anything. I finally had to drop him.
Well, I've got Christian Vasquez, and he's been killed since the trade of the Astros. Yeah, I can't drop him though because
they all like throwing to Maldonado too, right? So it's just a tough situation.
Got to throw to Machete. Yep. Okay, great. Throw to Machete. And the thing about Maldonado is he does hit home runs. So he hits like nothing or homer, and at least there's some utility in that. But I should have picked up Langeliers. Yeah, maybe I could have picked up Langeliers instead of Vasquez, but I don't know. That's kind of sketch. I don't know.
That's close. I'd probably go Langeliers just because of playing time, but I wouldn't argue hard on that one.
Yeah, that moment's passed now, so we'll move on. All right.
Well, doesn't mean we can't talk about it anyway.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, there's some other rookie call-ups this week. It was not just Langeliers. I'm gonna mess this up. Is it Brett Beatty or Brett Beatty?
I think it's Beatty, but and so we're gonna go with that because
Brett Beatty was called up by the Mets with Eduardo Escobar on the IL. He's a 22-year-old first-round pick in 2019. He's been great in AA this year. He only had a quick stop in AAA, but had 19 home runs in AA, hit 312. So good batting average guy. Strikes out a little bit, but OBP was over 400 at AA. He had a home run in his first swing, first major league swing on, I think it was Wednesday night, which is a cool moment. Do you think he stays up, and B, do you think they play him every day if he stays up? How do you kind of feel on Beatty in your free agent bidding?
I think it's tough with the Mets, just because. I mean, they have that built-in depth. It's purposeful depth. That they added Eduardo Escobar in part to add some of that depth. They added in more in the like Darren Ruff, Tyler Naquin. They can do all these pinch hitting sort of things. And even to that point today, Sanchez came in for Beatty late as defensively. Beatty struck out 3 times, so that probably had something to do with it too. Yeah, he's actually kind of struggling a little bit. Homer in his first at bat, I was like, yeah, all right. This kid's ready. Let's go. Maybe not, but we'll see.
We've said some rough things about the Tigers lineup earlier on the podcast, but they called up Kerry Carpenter. He's
Yeah,
played 8 games. A big home run guy in the minors. He had 30 home runs in the minors. I think he led the minors when they got called up. 22 in Double-A and 8 in Triple-A. While hitting over 300, he had a 12% strikeout rate in Triple-A and 138 plate appearances. Like we don't see
that's
a
pretty
lot of
good.
guys like that hit all these home runs. They always come with big strikeout rates. He was 27% in Double-A, so it's weird. Like I don't know if he just a small sample, but he seemed like he changed his approach. His walk rate doubled in AAA too, so he really took some steps up. As I looked more at this guy, I think there's I could squint a little bit and see some interesting. He had 2 home runs in his first week in the majors. I kind of like this as a bat to see what we got in the last 6 weeks here.
For sure. I got Squadouche in AL Tout Wars, and one of the guys I was bidding on was Carpenter, and I got outbid on him. And frankly, I was surprised and disappointed pretty badly by this one here.
How are you in the mix in AL Tout Wars? How are you there?
I just dropped from second to third.
So in the mix. That's good.
Yeah, but Doug Dennis has been solidly ahead of us for a good while, and now I got passed by Mike Podhorzer, who got Luis Castillo, and I got Eric Hosmer at the trade deadline.
Well, the A's beat Luis Castillo too to help you out there today.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he finally was facing a non-elite starter, at least perceived elite starter. So he probably let his guard down a little bit. Never let your guard down against our A's, though.
That's damn right. Really, Tony Kemp will will jump up and bite you at any point. Is Eric Hosmer even playing in Boston? I guess he plays against righties a little bit.
Yeah, that was my price. He just started against righties. I thought they were going to play him a lot to see what they had, and let him exude some veteranness.
It seemed all he did was just destroy any chance that Bobby Dahlbach had of playing regularly the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Yeah, because Dahlbeck's pretty much done playing every day. What about another young guy that showed some promise in the minors? Stone Garrett, fantastic name. 28 home runs in AAA so far this year and 440 plate appearances for the Diamondbacks AAA affiliate. 24% strikeout rate. He got called up too. It seems like the Diamondbacks are going youth movement here, which is good to see. Although he's 26, but were you any interest in the power hitting Stone Garrett?
I probably should have been a little bit more. No. The Diamondbacks elude me a lot. Like I was late to the party on Jake McCarthy.
I like Jake McCarthy.
I like him a lot. I didn't get, they've got. I didn't get any Alec Thomas, not for lack of trying, but I didn't get any of him. I guess he didn't play today.
He's been struggling.
Yeah, he has. McCarthy was batting 8 today. Don't like that.
Alec Thomas 228 in July, 227 in August with 2 home runs total. It's been a rough. He started out pretty well. It's been really rough since then.
Yeah, I do have some Josh Rojas in my life, and that's
good.
a guy I think that you're gonna look up and at the end of the season and say, "Wow, he did that." It's not like he's blowing you away like slugging percentage, 416 slug after today, but 7 homers and 17 stolen bases.
As I say, I would have lost a lot of money betting the over/under on his stolen bases without looking. There's no way I would have thought he had 17.
Yeah, only because I had rostered him and I held him. Remember, he was hurt. He had the oblique injury to start the season, and that was like, do you stash for 5-6 weeks? It is Josh Rojas after all. So he's an argument in favor of stashing. 17 for 18 on the pass, very successful as well. So you got to like seeing that.
We were talking about Petco. That Nelson Cruz home run in Petco today was freaking insane. That was a bomb.
Nice.
I'm appreciating every Nelson Cruz home run because I don't know how many more we're going to get, but it's been fun. Any other names here? We talked about Christian Arroyo last week. I like him again. He had another good week. He's playing every day for the Red Sox. He's eligible at second, short, and outfield. Really, he's one of the guys they had mic'd up today. He was actually pretty good on the mic, but just really solid and playing every day. I think in any kind of 15-teamer, he's definitely rosterable. I think he should be rostered everywhere. And even a 12-teamer, like for that, you'd be able to get that middle infielder and the outfielder together. I think he's usable there too.
Yeah, I think so too. Jake Fraley was available in one of my mains, the online main.
He's been warm too.
I have him in the Vegas main. Stay hot, Jake Fraley. He was like everything today. Home run, stolen base, some crooked numbers in that line.
He had 4 runs scored. That's wild.
Yeah. Isaac Paredes is who we actually picked up. A little bit of Donaldson insurance in case he has to miss. If he's not in the lineup Monday, we'll go with Paredes instead.
He's got a stomach ache. You got to get in the lineup, Josh.
Yeah, or don't, and it's only 2. Then he only plays 2 games, and I'll use Paredes.
Yep. Where I have Donaldson, I made sure I had another third baseman also.
Other guys we were looking at bidding. C.J. Abrams playing every day now for the Nats.
Not well though.
Give it time. Mark Canna, Chaz McCormick playing pretty well
I
now.
like that one too.
Paul Spore's alter ego is back, and he's playing better than ever. Those are some of the guys that were listed on our bids. There's a couple others. I think Carpenter was on that list too.
The guy who's interesting to me right now a little bit is Bryson Stott in Philadelphia. He was about 50% owned in the 12 teamers.
Yep.
It seemed like he changed his approach. He was like striking out 30% of the time earlier in this year. I think he's down to like 17% in August. He was even under that in July, hitting really well in August. I think he finally, maybe after the ups and downs, and he's maybe figured something out here. And I think he's hit 317 in August with no home runs. And 2 stolen bases. Maybe you don't get a ton of power, but I think he's usable in a 15-teamer. Second short eligibility. I think he'll 50-teamer for sure. And a 12er, I think he's a good backup middle infielder too.
Oh, I'd agree with that. I like that call. Josh Johnson asked, you like Lars Nootbaar? I think he homered again today, 7th on the year. My concern is like when Yepez comes back, how much playing time is Nootbaar going to get to play? I think that's part of it there. And of course, now you got to find room for the red hot Albert Pujols. And I'm not even joking, but Nootbaar did bat leadoff today. You know what? He's actually not, and he's a real life, not bad. 363 OBP, 450 slug. Yeah, I do kind of like him.
Yeah, my only concern on him was the playing time because you're not getting a ton of power or speed. But I think as long as he's playing every day in that lineup, it's really good. How hard do you think the Cardinals are going to try and get Pujols to 700 home runs?
I mean, they keep pulling away. I mean, if as long as he's hitting, I mean, you might as well try, right?
He had 5. It was done. There was no way he's getting there. He had 5 this week, so now it's back in the conversation.
Yeah, it is. Pinch hit today. They gave him a chance. I mean, he's not even. His line is not that bad this year. It's actually legit good. 858 OPS.
He's hitting 440 since the All-Star break.
That's nuts. Good for him. 692 now. I mean.
I
thought when they signed him, it was kind of a gimmick and it was hurting the team, taking away playing time, but it's doubly wrong.
I'd like to see him pass A-Rod.
Yeah. What number is A-Rod at?
696. So he's 4 behind A-Rod. There's only 3 guys ever with 700. A-Rod was 4 short. So Pujols says is 5th all time right now, which is pretty wild when you think about. But
it is.
I think it'd be fun to see him get to 4. Obviously, he's not going to get to 3. He can't pace. He's not going to pass Ruth, Aaron, or Bonds, but it'd be fun to see him pass A-Rod at least. Last guy I wanted to ask you about in hitters. Corbin Carroll is the number 1 prospect on a lot of lists. James Anderson's list that I think he had a list that came out today that he had him number 1. There's been a lot of rumors of him getting called up. Obviously, doesn't work in an NFBC league, but a lot of people play a lot of different kinds of leagues.
Mm-hmm.
If Corbin Carroll's available in your league, I think it's not a keeper league because obviously a keeper league he would have been long gone. I think you need to go pick him up pretty much right now because if he gets any kind of September call up, the dude has 21 home runs, 30 stolen bases, number 1 prospect. It's something that can make a difference in September.
And the general manager straight up said he's going to get the call.
Straight up said it, yeah. We don't know when, but if he's saying that, it's got to be pretty soon, right?
Yeah, and he was hurt for a while earlier. But yeah, I think this is a no-brainer to go. If you've got any sort of league where you can pick him up, do so.
Are you going to Yahoo Friends and Family right now to check his?
I might be. Did you see me looking inside there a little bit? Yeah.
I was like, Jeff, come on.
Am I a little slow on the draw? Are you already there?
I am not. It's all you if you want it.
All right. You're like in 3rd place in that league.
Yeah, I'm hanging around. Whoever's leading, I forget who it is just so far ahead. It's got like a 25-point lead or something like that.
It's Ryan Boyer, I think. Right?
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, I forgot who it was, but it's whoever's leading is really doing a great job.
Carroll's available, so yeah, why not? I have nothing to lose in that league. Might as well pick him up.
Oh, that's a smart pickup.
Yeah.
If you hadn't done it, I would have done it.
Yeah. Sir Anthony Dominguez can go. Here's the thing is like it's tough. I got to find someone who's on my bench. I hate some of the rules here.
I don't like that rule. I think you should be able to drop somebody. Like you should be able to go the next day and drop someone no matter what.
Right.
Because as long as you should be able to count it towards the next day. So at 12:01, I'm gonna go pick up Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, we'll race, or someone who's got like a guy that's droppable. You know what? I dropped Lance Lynn. You can go have Lance Lynn. That's fine.
Fantastic. Let me go pick up Lance Lynn. I picked up Trevor Rogers and put him on the IL. It was
that was former that was on my team too.
A wizard move right there.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get out of here, a few news and notes. We mentioned Sir Anthony Dominguez on the IL with the right triceps tendonitis. George Springer is a tough case here. He just come off the IL. He went 5 for 5 on Thursday, and then he missed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with knee soreness. Like this has been a frustrating. Like when he's been in there, he's been fine and hit, and he leads off, but he just misses so many games.
Yeah, he does. And he said he's not going to be 100% the rest of the way either. And I hear, rumors has it, they've told me this before, that Toronto plays on this. It's not grass. I think it's called AstroTurf or field turf or whatever variation of turf. It's an artificial surface. And I hear that that's not good for your knees.
Yeah, so it's not great. I mean, it sucks. Yeah, he had that 5-hit game. He didn't play on Friday. I'm like, oh, maybe he'll be fine. But like, you hate to take someone like that out. But then it seems like he never just misses one game. They do not play tomorrow. So you have to figure out if you have somebody else that doesn't play tomorrow, you can kind of hold back. Also, they played 3 at Boston this week and then home against the Angels. But you don't want to miss those week from offenses. But it's hard to play someone you just don't think are going to play. We mentioned Yordan Alvarez. He returned today after leaving Friday's game early. It seems like he checked out okay, but something to monitor there. Tyler Malley, we talked about last week. He actually officially won the IL with shoulder inflammation. It sounds like they don't think it's major. He's going to be back on September 2nd, but still a good note to know that he's not going to be pitching in the next 10 days or so here. Yasmani Grandal, we haven't really talked about him much this year because he hasn't got any hits all year, but he's been really bad, and he actually won the IL this week with a knee strain. Any place I had him, I just flat dropped him. I know it's not serious, only supposed to miss a couple weeks, but when you got 3 home runs, you're hitting 203 at this point of the year, I can go ahead and jettison you from my squad without much problem.
Yeah, it's remarkable. 3 home runs. 3.
His hard hit rate is down 15%, and his barrel rate's down from 13% to 5%. He is a completely different hitter right now. It's not just some bad luck. He's just been really, really bad and very, very different than he was last year.
Kind of broken, right?
Yeah, now. It feels that way. Maybe he just
kind of a good metaphor for the White Sox season.
That is true. It's been a shame. Since we always have a Bryce Harper update, just so you can go ahead and download all his BP footage, he's going on a rehab assignment next week. He'll be back September 1st-ish, it sounds like. So either the series before that or the series after that, depending on the rehab goes. But we're down to a mere single-digit number of days probably on Harper coming back.
So I did retweet that video that you guys were ripping me about. And fair, because I did say I wouldn't watch it. I actually didn't watch it. I was doing the show, and I just retweeted it like, hey, there it is.
It was beautiful, though. It was just so great that someone –
Brian Slack caught me on that.
Was it Slack? Of course it was Slack. Slack's the best, but that's awesome. I laughed. Jose Altuve on my main event team, a little concerning. He was out Sunday with a sore shoulder. I'm like, oh, whatever. It's a Sunday, maybe second day off. I read a story that it's been lingering for almost a month in his shoulder. So I'm concerned about that just because they have such a big lead. I wonder how much they push him in September, and that's not good. Yeah,
that is not good at all. And yeah, this is the point where you start, like intimately the details of the players, like Eloy on and off. He got hurt Friday, then played Saturday as a DH, but only got 2 at-bats. Like, okay, got rained out today, so we'll find out a little bit more about that one. But no, you're acutely aware of the issues facing your team.
That rain out sucked, by the way.
Yeah, it did.
Dylan Cease and Aaron Savali are on each of my main event teams, and or one's on one, one's on the other, and that would be their 2-step weeks just went by. At least they'll throw it twice next week, so it's not that big a deal. But I was looking forward to that game.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, absolutely. You are hyper aware of the things that are going on there. Taijuan Walker for me is one that I'm watching because I listed 2-step out of him. I got 2 innings this week.
I had Carrasco, same thing. It was like, really, Monday we get 2 innings, then I got to sit and watch him line up the whole rest of the way.
And my reward is he gets to face the Yankees, by the way, at Yankee Stadium.
Is that a bad thing?
Yeah, it is. And then
still scares me despite the insanely bad offense they had last 3 weeks.
But instead of next week getting a home start against the Rockies, he gets home at the Yankees, and the next week, hey, 2 steps. But guess what? The first one's home against the Dodgers.
Oh. And he hurt himself covering first or something, right? Didn't he hurt himself? It was it was terrible.
So yes, I'm complaining. I'm belly aching about that one with my considerable belly. So there you go.
Wander Franco pulled off his rehab assignment, lingering soreness to his wrist. That is not a good one, Jeff. That sounds like it is not healed and he's not ready to go.
My Tatis stash replacement stash.
Did you
and now I'm going to have
to drop him or keep him.
Kept him, but next week we'll drop him.
Yeah, that's been a spot for wrists for you. It's just been the same over and over.
Yeah, and I had gotten religion about it too. That's the thing I'm kicking myself about.
Yeah, did I miss one there?
No.
Oh, okay, you were just saying all right.
I
was losing my religion. REM. How does this fit in the mix here? I was trying to.
No,
trying to think of references when they're not there now.
I've got you so in a shell now.
You're
like spotting references that aren't there around every corner.
I'm seeing ghosts. It's me and Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
Josh Donaldson.
No, it wasn't Sanchez. That was Darnold.
Oh, Sam Darnold? I thought
Sam Darnold was the one seeing ghosts.
Jets quarterback, same thing.
Yeah.
Right? Josh Donaldson, you mentioned, missed the weekend with a stomach ailment. I imagine he'll be good pretty quick, but they play the Mets tomorrow. If you check that lineup, Giancarlo Stanton, who we didn't hear from for a long time, he's going to rehab assignment, likely to return on Thursday. So probably can't play him the first half of the week. We can play him the second half of the week. Braxton Garrett, a guy that I really liked in Miami, had been pitching really well. Right oblique strain, likely done for the entire season. So he's a drop there, but that's a bummer because I actually liked what I've seen from Garrett.
Yeah, me too.
Seems like Marlins pitchers, they just have a lot of trouble staying healthy aside from Sandy.
Yeah, they do. They do. Did you mention Shohei yet?
I did not. So he left with he was like had a stomach flu or something today, right?
Yeah, and the tires got to him a little bit, and so
he did not. He just did not look right all day.
Yeah, and he came out of both parts of the lineup, both pitching and hitting.
It's funny because this was the first 2-start week it had all year too.
Of course.
I mean, it doesn't matter in the baseball scheme, but just calendar scheme. This is the first time he had done it. So a lot of people use him as a pitcher this week, and he had that 2 home runs, 6 RBI game on Friday. Of course, it's the way it works. But
I have not used him as a pitcher once in Yogurt. I've used him. I haven't even thought about it. I've just used him as a hitter every single time. Maybe I should think, but I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously been great as a pitcher. I mean, it depends what you need too. If you're stacked in hitting and you need some pitching, it works that way. It's just the flexibility is nice, but just funny that they finally had a 2-start week and he ended up leaving early. Yeah. Luke Voigt, you mentioned earlier when you were talking about the Padres Nats game, missed the weekend with back spasms. He played Thursday night when you were there, and then missed Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Corey Knebel, done for the season, tearing his right shoulder capsule. I assume everybody had dropped him by now, but if not, go ahead and drop him. That's kind of it. Nate Eovaldi, not pitching on Tuesday with a shoulder and neck issue. So if you're planning on starting him this week, pretty much got to bench him. He's been really bad lately. It seems like he's just not right physically at the moment.
Yeah. He hasn't. And he's had some of the worst outings this year too. Yeah. He just that torching against the Blue Jays, I remember.
Yeah, it's been rough lately, but I think that's about it. The only guy I wanted to ask you about, someone that we talked about a bunch last season, and he was terrible last season. He had 218 with 5 home runs. Andres Jimenez moved up big time in drafts last year, was bad. The dude has been awesome this year, and kind of quietly awesome. He made the All-Star game, but hitting 309, 14 home runs, 16 stolen bases, 58 runs driven in. Hard hit rates up 8%, strikeout rates down 5%. I was someone who I kept looking at him like he doesn't hit the ball hard ever. He doesn't do anything well. I don't know why people are picking him up aside from some stolen bases. He's been fantastic this year and a huge, huge boon to anybody who got him. And it was late in draft this year.
Yeah, he was. This is what everybody who drafted him last year thought he was. And if you believe in the he owes me method, then you got him. I don't have him in any of my leagues. None. I don't even think I have him in a best ball. I don't think I have him in a DC. I don't think I have him anywhere.
I had him in friends and family, and I think that's the only place I have him. But I faded him last year. It was a win. I didn't take him again this year. Definitely a loss. He's been really, really good.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Speaking of guys who are starting to come on a little bit, I'd like Alec Boehm to have a lot more 2 home runs, 6 RBI games the rest of the way. That would be really nice.
I remember you get him in the Vegas main.
Yeah, and I actually picked him up in my other main, so I have him in both mains. He got dropped in that main. I picked him up. He's been he was really good in July, a little bit quiet in August, but still hitting 307 in the second half. He only has now he has 4 home runs. He's not a big home run hitter, but I do like what I see him. The most important thing for me with him is he's hitting third every day for the Phillies. That's a really nice spot behind Schwarber and Hoskins, and obviously Castellanos behind him, and Harper will mix in there somewhere. He's gone from my concern is he's hitting 7th every day and the fielding's bad to now he's hitting 3rd every day no matter what. I think it's really nice for his counting stats.
Yeah, it is.
I'd like to keep up because he's an important one for me. So it's always nice. It's funny because we always talk about, they scored 12 runs. I clicked on the box score. My guy was over 5. It's always a good feeling when they score 7 runs. Your guys are driven in 6 of them. It's always
it's a beautiful
doesn't happen very often. It seems like, but boy, is it nice. Someone in the chat asked when Corbin Carroll's ETA was. I don't think we know yet, but as Jeff mentioned, the GM did say he's coming up. So I imagine he wouldn't say that unless it was fairly soon.
I would guess September 1st. There is some roster expansion. It's not.
Is there? I always forget how it is.
You get to add 2 or 3 more players.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a pretty good guess then.
It might be sooner if they have an injury, but yeah.
Yeah, someone else mentioned Austin Riley creeping up in the MVP hype. That's definitely true. I'm just afraid that Paul Goldschmidt keeps pulling away in the MVP hype.
Yeah, I mean, there is that.
Especially with the Cardinals pulling away the division. I mean, Goldschmidt's got, 100 RBIs, 31 home runs, 87 runs, hitting 340.
It's just ridiculous.
Is the crazy part of that whole sentence. I mean, he's his highest average ever in a year was 321. And that was That was 2015 when he might have won the MVP. One of those years he won the MVP. He's at 340 right now.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks everybody for listening to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. We do always appreciate it. Always, whether you're listening to us live, whether you're watching us live, whether you're listening to us on the audio version, we greatly appreciate all of that. Jeff is, if you want to follow Jeff on Twitter, he's at Jeff_Erickson. I am at Scott Jenstad. Other than that, hope everybody has a really good fantasy week. We'll be back at you next Sunday night. Hope everybody has a good one and take care.